Hello and welcome to This Week in Property. I'm your host, Richard Swan, and in today's show, we have a gentleman whose name is Daniel McPeake, whose company is NestSeekers International, and you might already actually know them. And why do I say that? Because Daniel, no, I don't know that, Richard. I'm not quite sure. Well, it's because of the exposure that Daniel's company has. It's absolutely incredible. If I say to you things like Netflix, Channel 5, if I throw shows at you such as Million Dollar Beach House, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, World's Most Luxurious Homes, you start to get the picture. These guys really specialise in a very particular niche in the property world, and we're going to have a lot of fun chatting about that. And listen, if you're into your, what will we call it, property porn, shall we say, listeners and viewers, then you've got a treat, because when it's safe to do so, go into the show notes, use the links, go to Daniel's website, and my goodness, you will be drooling over some of the real estate, the assets, the properties that he happens to deal with. It's incredible. But Daniel, first of all, for your good self, welcome and thanks a million for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Really looking forward to it, and thanks for the great intro.
Ah, thank you. Now, this man, I've got to need to be gentle with him. He's a suffering Englishman this morning, suffering in a good way with the celebration hangovers from the football last night. But he's there. Fantastic. But he's enjoying it. He's got a smile on top of that hangover, which is brilliant. Now, Daniel, let's get the wee story behind yourself personally. First of all, just get the listeners and the viewers to understand who you are and where you came from to get to this particular piece, because we're going to be talking all about NestSeekers. We're going to talk about that niche in the market that you operate in, and the clients that you help, your opinions in the market, a whole host of things. But who is the Daniel? Because just before we started recording, you were explaining about the Celtic connection. You've got a Belfast link in your family, etc.
That's right.
Summary of your kind of the path that's taken you here.
Yeah, so my great grandfather, my great grandfather, no, my dad's dad, my granddad. Sorry, the hangover's still there. Came over from Belfast and met my nan. The other side of my family, the Harris side, my great grandfather on that side was Basher Harris, the bare knuckle cobble fighter.
Oh my goodness!
in Narrow Street, which is kind of Wapping, Isle of Dogs area, and that's how they earned their money. So when I was born, actually, for a brief period of time, we was the largest generation of families living in the East End. So there was a great grandfather, a grandfather, dad, and a son. And in the early 70s, that was a lot, to have alive. So, so fast forward, brought up by a very loving, very caring mum, as everyone would say. Went to school, being honest and open. Was very popular at school, but in the late 70s, early 80s, I was a little bit dyslexic, and it wasn't really picked up. So I didn't have, it wasn't great at tests, and things like that, Richard. So left school pretty early. Back then, you could leave 6 months before everyone else if you was born November.
Yeah.
Took the opportunity. Why wouldn't I? And I remember the headmaster, Dr. Doherty, very well written guy. It was a Catholic school I went to. Right. He was, he said to my mum, "You've got to pay for his GCSEs because we don't think he's going to turn up." And there was about 19 quid a GCSE. And I was like, why do I need these anyway? Okay. I have a fundamental problem, Richard, with schools.
Right.
And today I do. They're designed to push you into a job. It's still like a factory. Bell goes, sit in a row. Put your hand up if you want to use the toilet. Bell goes, eat. Bell goes, stop eating. Come back, sit in rows. No creativity. No, it's all about, work. There's no freedom of expression. If you're good at exams, you're going to go far. Yes. If you're not, but you're a bloody genius underneath, no one's ever going to find out. No. So we prepare people for this work environment, and then everyone on the globe says you have to get a job. Get up at 7, go to work, finish at 5:30. And then football controls every male's calendar throughout the year to give them something to do. Otherwise, their self-esteem would explode with boredom. Left school, was a bit cocky, quickly landed a job. My uncle had the van contract at News International. So the Sun, the Times, News of the World, the new paper was out at the time called Today, which was the first coloured paper. So I remember him saying, "I've got you a job, don't effing embarrass me." So I was full of swagger, 16 up the city. And I remember coming back from my GCSEs and in dinner hall, in the school.
Yep.
And I remember sitting down at the front and Dr. Doherty looking at me, and I could see his heart sank. And I remember I put my hand up. I said, "How long is this?" And he said, 3 hours. And I said, "I'm not sitting here for 3 hours." He said, "Put your name on the top of your paper so your mum gets her money back."
Oh,
and off I went.
Wow.
What that did in that time, I was a crazy individual. I was crazy into, from a young age, something called Amway, which was an American platform.
Yeah.
And my mum used to sell pottery in people's houses doing parties, right?
Wow.
She didn't progress playing summers, but it was just pottery parties. So I was always wrapped around that, or hearing her talking, because it was very much, it was tapes then, the old cassette.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was 11 coming up to 12, I asked my mum to buy me these Amway tapes that I'd seen in the back of a paper. And they were about $50. I wanted them for Christmas. There was a lot of money for her.
Yeah.
She got them and they turned up in March because no one understood the shipping. And I got addicted to these. Not only that, the penny dropped with me that someone had spent $50 to receive this information, these tapes. Okay. So that got me thinking about sales, went through life. I was at the Today for about a year, and then I took a job door knocking, selling double glazing, cladding. And I didn't realise then, Summit Cladding, great guy, Steve Gell, used to buy us a beer at the end of every evening.
Right.
I didn't realise then I was in a university for what was to come. It was real life schooling, knocking on people's doors 5:30 until 9 at night.
Wow.
And I stayed there until I was in my early 20s, 21. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved the job. I had all day to do what I wanted. All night I was just talking to people. And it was good money. Yeah. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. And it was in that time, that crazy time, and it teaches you. So left there, wandered a bit, not too sure what to do. And a friend of mine said, if you become an estate agent on the Isle of Dogs, they'll give you a Golf GTI. I was like,
I'm in.
Career. That's what I want. I want a Golf GTI. So, got involved in that. Realized quickly that, estate agency was closed off. You didn't talk to an agent from this place. You blocked the other one so he couldn't get his car out. And I realized the concept of agency and how much I didn't like it. And I was different to that.
Yeah.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Love it.
And then that's what sort of led us on to where we are now. So I'd speak to everyone. So after a couple of years working in this company, I got bored. I went and worked for a corporate, did well there, but got bored. And then I would have people say, look, I'm thinking of opening an agency. Not necessarily can you turn it into profit, but can you get it out of the ground, put the right people in there, get it functioning?
Right.
So I had periods of doing that. I then had my own agency, which was a big awakening to me, 2007 to coming up 2011. So I opened it as the world started to crash.
Wow, that's a time period. Wow.
Well, let me tell you something. Right, the biggest lesson I've learned in my life: vanity is expensive. Richard, when the world's shutting, understand that you're not the most amazing person on the planet, and you're going to sail through it.
Yeah.
Okay, when there's water coming on the ship, get to a lifeboat. I didn't.
Get to a lifeboat.
During this time, I worked a lot with Barratt Homes. We sold them something called the rent back guarantee that they rolled out nationally, which allowed people to receive a 15% return on a property for 2 years. So there was good things going on, but I stayed open, and it was all falling apart. Okay, I was losing it. I had too many staff. I couldn't let them go. They had kids, they had families. Everyone had fast little Honda cars, was flying around, and I reduced and reduced and reduced. We had a few completions one Friday. I had about 4 guys and girls left, and we had about 50K going to the bank. And the bank phoned me up and said, we're withdrawing your 50 grand overdraft now because you cleared it. Richard, the day before I was due to send their salaries out.
Oh,
and I'm on the phone while they're standing around me, helping. They wanted to, and I'm to the bank manager. I'm like, look, I've got to pay 4 people. And he went, nothing we can do to help you. Unfortunately, we've got bigger fish to deal with than you, and the money's there.
Jeez.
And I put the phone down. I remember selling almost everything I had. I had a couple of young kids at the time. And I paid the guys and girls. and then, you know, entered a period of what the hell, you know, what you hit it, you know, you hit it, and people disappear. It's so strange.
Yeah.
People disappear. You know, I went about 6 months through. I'm very sorry for myself because I'm English, British, and Irish. So I'm bloody good at that. And then literally one day, you know, I said to my mum, can you lend us £1,000? You know, I want to get out there. And I remember going up to London and meeting people again. And I would get a cab, a black cab, give him a £5 and say, just drive me around the corner and drop me off. So it looked like I had the cash to get out of the cab and turn up at the meeting.
Ah, right, okay.
Pay-as-you-go phone. And then I bumped into Solly Strickland, who are known, you know, if you put it sort of on the circuit, Solly Strickland is the world #1 warehouse conversion guy. Right. If it's in London and it's converted stable, toilet, warehouse, whatever, Solly's been inside it.
Right.
You know, so we set up a company called London Loft in 2013, which was a bit, you know, we wanted to be the libertines of estate agents. It was rock and roll, you know, it was DMs, t-shirts, you know, driving around on a GSX 1000, you know, that kind of fun. And we hit that niche so well with Solly's expertise and kind of my ability to move the company and grow it. And that brought me onto I see a show on TV, $1 Million Listing. And I remember watching it thinking, okay, who's the guy behind the camera? Who's Puff Daddy? You know, everyone has their 5 minutes, but who's the guy that's making this happen? Come up here. And I sent an email to Eddie Shapiro, who owns NestSeekers. Yeah. Great story himself. Eddie left Israel at 18 to be a rock star in New York. Okay? Wow. $200 and the phone number of an uncle we'd never met. Now resides at the top of a company, you know, that has no debt, no investors, and a tiny amount of shareholders. Any agent in the company's got his number. He's open. And he replied, and I was like, wow. So then a year went on of kind of texting backwards and forwards. You know, he had a lot going on. You know, London was London. You know, back then, you know, New York didn't even care about Chicago. You know, let alone. So it was going backwards and forwards. And I think I'd had, you know, I'm sure you can edit this and whatever, but I think I had a few too many beers one night. And I said to him, look, you know, do you want to get your balls out and do this? And he said straight away, yes. So I left my house, kissed my wife that night, got a cab to Heathrow and flew to JFK. And the next morning, I was outside Fifth Avenue at 8 o'clock when he come walking up the street. And I went, hi, I'm Dan McPeake. I've been talking to you on text. We spoke about 12 hours ago. You said we should do this. I'm here.
Here I am. Wow, that's an entrance. That's a move.
And he looked at me and he says I don't do his impression of him too good, but I think I do. He looked at me and he went, okay, so you need a coffee, right? And I was like, yeah, let's get coffee.
Let's get coffee. So, wow.
That went on, and then it took us, you know, you can't copy and paste an American model. Yeah, okay? Yeah. During this time, I was working in Singapore. I was fly out to Singapore on a Friday, fly back for Monday morning, fly back out Friday, economy. Oh my goodness. Just to see what was going on. The same with Hong Kong. And I was realizing estate agency isn't broken. Okay. It works because people are selling and completing now. Yeah. But it smells of yesterday. Right. Okay. And the reason estate agency doesn't work in the UK is because the fees are too low. Because we have a generation.
Too low.
The fees are too low.
There's a statement.
So in America, the fee's 6%. Right. Okay. But they do something amazing. They co-broke. They bring value to that. So if you have a property to sell in the States, Richard, you've got a property, you have to load it up on the MLS, which is like their listing service. I, as another broker, even if you've decided you don't like me because we beat you at the football, sorry, have a buyer for your property, you have to let me show it to my buyer. And we come to an agreement on, because there's 6% to play with. Yeah. You don't mind sharing it. Now, in the UK, especially in and around London, because the fees are so low, because estate agents have lost the psychology of sales and they pitch a fee and not a service.
Yes, so, this is one of the things you really focus on, isn't it? Yeah, you pitch a service, terrible. Not a fee.
It's all about the service. When you pitch a service, not the fee, and you understand that vendors sitting in their houses don't understand how agency works. It's the biggest mistake agents make.
Yeah.
They think they understand, so they just go in with it. When you explain it to them, they pay it.
Right.
Okay, and we get 3% in the UK.
Okay.
So I knew that was wrong. So when I met with Eddie, it was like, we can't copy and paste. We can't bring it across. A lot gets lost in translation, even though we speak the same language. And we started just playing with it. Bits and pieces. And everyone told me back then, you're clinically insane. Estate agents will not work for themselves. And I'm like, well, they will if the reward's there and they have the gumption to see it. And if we teach them some home truths, because when you're a self-employed agent, you hold a mirror up to yourself.
Right.
Okay, you've got to be involved. So we did some backwards and forwards, and I would say it took 5 years to be an overnight success. So it took us a while to get it all functioning, but you don't wait until it's 100% right, because if you did, we'd be dead. We watched some other models then kind of started to creep over, and we watched what they were successful at and learnt from them, and what they was failing at and learnt from them. We wanted to stay very much built on brand, and I had at that point, the American model's built on headcount.
Right.
Yeah. Throw everyone in, and if they do one sale a year, woohoo, it all filters up. Right. I totally didn't want to build that model, and that's not how we did NestSeekers when we moved into LA and the Hamptons and Miami.
Right.
We wanted, we knew we weren't going to get a team of, Sterlings and Harry Kanes, but we wanted, people that had the desire to do it,
Yeah.
So that took a while, and then, we didn't advertise for anybody. People just started to find us.
Oh, wow, really? Okay.
And then we had brokers find us. And this was around early 19. And brokers find us and be successful. Big brokers are coming across. And then I will deal with people that have transferable skills.
Right.
We run something called the NestSeekers Academy, which everyone that comes to us can go through, but they don't have to join NestSeekers. They can, go join a high street agent. But we hope we give them something back. And we have an hour and a half Zoom every Monday, and then a clubhouse on Friday, which we do role play, which they've likened to Whose Line Is It Anywhere? meets learn. We encourage them to have a glass of wine or a beer. There's no holding back on the language, and we pretend like it would be Richard. We've knocked on someone's door. What are we going to talk to them about?
Right.
And we do silly things as well, like we play a game called the La game, where we see how long you can say La for. And the reason is it creates competitive. It makes them competitive.
Right. Okay.
We teach them that you don't listen. So one of the games we played, they have to talk about real estate and then name someone else to carry on the conversation, and that someone else has to start the conversation with the last 3 words.
Right.
So you listen. People don't. You don't. And this is what we call the psychology of sales, right?
Right.
It's lost. Okay. It's lost. It's disappeared. So did that with Eddie. 2019. Great agents. Started playing around with brand awareness. Big brand awareness guy. Not call to action. Never come in cold, hard call to action. Got a phone call from Rightmove. One of the guys at Rightmove said your banner in Southwest London is doing better than anyone else, even the established, I won't name them, Old Guard, Strike Mafia.
Wow.
By a lot. I'll send you the graph.
Wow.
So I was like, okay. So I knew straight away then we was hitting. And then we was getting asked back then, it became important. How many followers have you got? What social media platforms you're on? Yeah. So, we've got, in the States, we've got Eric Conover, the world's biggest property YouTuber. He gets 10 to 15 million hits every video. We've got, because of the TV shows and everything, we've got the stars there. So I just put on the Rightmove banner, and we was the first agency to do it, NestSeekers, and underneath, this is a bit out of date, but just this, every social media platform we was on, just the number of followers.
Brilliant.
Right. And so it's always about pushing it forward and changing what we're doing. The company started to grow, we started to get some listings, and then we end up where we are today, which currently today, I'm pretty sure we hold the most exclusive and expensive listing in central London.
Right.
At 65 million.
Yeah.
We've transacted this year on property in excess of 20 to 30 million, as well as 2 to 3. Okay. You know, we deal with everything, but we're good at high end.
Yes.
We've just finished putting together what I call the connectivity of sales, which is we are a company. This is where a lot of companies miss out. And this is why the NestSeekers name travels into Europe so well. You know, I can phone our guys in Portugal, which I launched during the last lockdown, and speak to them all. Okay. They can phone the guys in the States. You know, Sean Elliott, who's responsible for selling the most expensive house in LA, you know, he'll pick the phone up to any of them. So when we say,
gotcha,
you're buying in London, but your daughter wants to rent in New York, you know, we know the guys over here, because of the academy, know what a condo is versus a co-op, and they know who to call.
Fantastic.
So we don't lose that. So and it sounds like that should happen in a big company. It doesn't.
It doesn't. No. And that's what you mean by the connected sales, is it?
That's the connected sales. Yeah, that's part of the service. Because I'll tell you, Richard, that the thing we do is amazing. There's two home truths that we need to bang out straight away. Okay. Estate agents, brokers, whatever they are, don't sell property. All right. Right. You won't find, you know, I talk about it like my wife. You won't find a woman sitting in a property she doesn't like because an agent sold it to her. Sure. Okay. Sure. So let's dispel that myth. Right. Properties don't get sold; they get bought. Right. Okay. I like that. And that means you need marketing. Yes. And you need every single bit of, you know, if I could put a tattoo, you know, on your head of a house for sale, I should, because it's more marketing. Right. You know, we're on what agents do traditionally in the UK is 50% of the marketing. Right. They put a property online and think that's it. Yes. Okay? Yes. And that's not wrong. Okay. But that's what you get for a 1% agent. Correct. Yeah. You're carp fishing in a lake with no fish in it, right? Or you're hoping. So, and that's 50%. And we do that. NestSeekers is on 10 portals in the UK and 147 globally. Yeah. Okay. A portal bill would terrify anybody, but it's important for us to do this and explore new ones. You know, we never look down at everything. Yes to anything. Okay. But the other 50%, where the hard work is, where you actually sell stuff, because agents don't, you know, traditionally perhaps don't like hard work, is where you have to create a market to sell the property through. And that's different. And that's how you justify your fee. And a simple example of that at the most basic level, and people, I call them the kids that come on the academy, but they're not. Some of them, you know, they're in their late 30s and that. But, you know, I say to them, look, if you do a short video of a house and you put it on Instagram and 100 people like it, then you spend Saturday profiling every single one of them 100 people that have liked it. And let's be traditional, because it works. And you see, you've got a couple, okay? There's 3 couples that look like they're looking to move. They may be talking about new coffee shops, new area, new school. And it's a boy and a girl, and the girl's pregnant. Now you target her social media with the house, but the second bedroom's a nursery. Gotcha. So you haven't asked, and this is, you know, without getting into too much, that's creating a market. That's driving the audience that wants the product to the product. That's what's missing out. And you see that a lot in the States, and it's now happening over in the UK. Really? And that's what's worked. The other issue we have is we do sell when we're on evaluation. Okay. But we're selling the invisible. Yeah. It's the power of attraction. We're selling trust, because you don't have a product. You don't have a Hoover someone can go try on their landing to see if it works. You don't have a 40-inch TV so you can watch England in Rome this Saturday, right? Win, okay. You don't have that, yeah? You have you. The vendor doesn't care a less what you've done in the past. What they care about is what can they get? Where can they move forward? How are you going to move them to where they want to go? Okay, so we're selling the invisible at this stage. And this is the psychology of sales. This is where it kicks in. You know, this is about relationship building, you know, about making sure you understand who you're sitting in front of, what they've been through. When someone asks you in for a valuation, they spent 2 weeks filling their head up with garbage. You know, if that house is for sale and it's worth 2.5 million, mine's got a much better kitchen, it must be worth 3. Yeah. You know, and so it's understanding that, and then putting yourself in the buyer situation. We'll do a quick game. There's only 2 of us, so we'll pretend there's more. So you have to install a fear of loss into a buyer.
Right.
And so you understand, because this is what we do with the agents as well. So you understand what that feels like.
Mm-hmm.
We can do this in real time now. Mm-hmm. Imagine there's you, Richard, and there's 9 other strangers you've never met.
Okay.
You go into a dark room, and in the room there's 10 booths.
Mm-hmm.
You go into a booth, you can't see anything. Okay. And I say to you, right, when I say 10 minutes is gone, you can all walk out. Mm-hmm. Okay. In the booth in front of you is a red button.
Right.
Okay. If no one presses the red button in 10 minutes, when all 10 of you walk out, you'll get £1,000.
Oh.
But if someone presses the red button, they get £10,000.
Oh.
They get nothing.
Oh. Okay. There's a game changer.
And you go into the booth, right?
Yeah.
Put your hand up. Who's pressing the red button?
Oh, come on. And running as fast as you can.
Fear of loss.
Gotcha.
So when we talk about sales, let's also talk about the psychology of that. Let's get into the mindset of it, and let's understand what's in front of us. Yeah. And probably an overly long introduction, what's gone on, a bit about what we're happening. But that is, that's NestSeekers.
That's
and
fantastic.
Welcome to it.
There's so many areas where you take a left where everybody else in the herd is taking a right. The whole thing of service over fees, the whole thing of create the market, not the person who's there. It's not the property. You're not it's amazing how it's almost as if everybody else is shouting black and you're saying white. It's incredible. And that the psychology of the sales, the connection of the sales, would you say that goes right back to your Amway foundation, or is it more on what you've learned since then? How do you piece it together when you review your life and your experiences?
I think where I had to think out of the box a lot more when I was younger, it was coming to a point where perhaps I needed to ask my friend how to spell this all the time. And how do I ask him to do that 16 times a day without me wanting to hit me with his ruler? How do you involve people? So once you started to get into that thing young and you understand it and you understand people, and you take sales back. Okay, let's remember, sales as an industry is responsible for more wealth globally than any other industry. Right. Okay, it provides jobs for more women globally than any other industry. And one of the things we did when we did the academy, originally it was just an idea. Right. We wanted to bring more women into the agency, and this academy we do it by the month. Right. So this academy's June. It's all women.
Is it really?
All
entrepreneurial fantastic.
Women. Yeah, there ain't a guy in it. And you know what? Sometimes they make better agents. They've got more empathy.
More empathy, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's very generic, but yeah, it's very much a factor. Absolutely.
It is, absolutely. And it works. So I think it was learning as we go forward. But like I said to you, learning to listen. Okay. A salesperson, and it's kind of strange because I always wanted to be a sales guy. I don't know why, but I just wanted to be a sales. I used to lay in bed listening to Tom Hopkins and Zig Ziglar when I was 14, 15.
Brilliant, yeah.
The old guys, and listening to wouldn't it, couldn't it, shouldn't you, don't you? What a porcupine closes, and these things that you use. So it allowed me to be the guy. I mean, I was a lot younger, a lot better looking then, but I was the guy my mates would go get them girls.
Is that right?
You would know that
brilliant.
You could just speak and have, sometimes you just got to bloody be you.
Right.
All this, I see things. I very rarely go on LinkedIn, but occasionally I like something one of the guys, and I see what other people are doing, and they're at the gym 7 times a day and they're doing this and doing that. And I'm like, God, you're going to sit next to someone and sell them a product that you don't have because it's invisible, and they don't do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got to understand what they do.
Yes.
And plug into what they are interested in.
Yes.
Talking about you, no. Okay. If you walk into a house and there's a cricket bat in the corner, guess what? Your son plays cricket.
Yeah.
And does your son? Oh yeah, he does. Oh, fantastic. Have you got any pictures of him? Oh yeah. Where was that over this one? Oh, is that your car in the background? Yeah. Is that the new Audi Q8 or whatever it is? Yeah. It is. Oh, fantastic car. I was looking at one last week. People buy stories.
Yes.
People like stories. Okay. So when we get into the psychology of sales and talking about sales, yes, it probably was, as you said, from a young age coming through. But it's also, I learned very quickly that salespeople are just really good at asking questions.
Yeah, now, I was going to say this because just the way you were describing the cricket bat, the way you were describing the car and so on, I'm going to tie those two together. Do you feel that the person on the other side of that, they will pick up maybe by feelings, emotions, rather than a word or an inflection, just an energy, especially if it's a woman, they'll pick up if you're just trying to manipulate and bullshit. Whereas if it's a genuine curiosity, if it's a genuine asking questions, what kind of bat is that? And what level do they play at and stuff? And the car, is it the one with the new silencer in the back? Do you agree with that? Do you think people know that just by, this guy's 100%. Genuine? Yeah, do you?
You're right. 100%, and it's down to being genuine.
Yeah.
Having your personality has to be attractive. You're selling the invisible. Yeah. They're worried, right? What are we told? Like salespeople everywhere. Let's look at it this way, yeah? Simple thing. There's roughly 4,000 universities and colleges in the States.
Right.
Okay. Less than 200 have a sales major course.
Wow.
Now, every single one of them kids that leaves there has got to go sell themselves if they're going into the workforce, or if they're building their own brand. So everyone is a salesman.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone's got two jobs. Right, a doctor needs people to be able to fix them. Right, so everyone does sales, and what it is people, once you say it, they're uncomfortable with it, and I'll tell you why they're uncomfortable with it, because this is my new boyfriend. His name's Dan, and the dad and mum goes, oh great, what does he do? Oh, he's in sales.
Yeah.
Oh, bless him. You know what I mean? Trying to get a proper job. You know what I mean? Oh, what do you do for a living? I'm a cold caller. Oh, wouldn't no one else take you? Well, I made just shy of 250,000 cold calling last year.
Yeah.
No one understands it, and this is what's really annoyed me. And this is what's annoyed me.
Where does that come from then? What is it in society that's made that a bad word?
It's the UK thing for a start.
Right.
Okay? You don't find it abroad. You don't find it abroad. If I took you to a sales hall in Singapore, in one of the hotels where they had 5 London buildings on sale, you'd have the sales guys with their badges, Top Gun, best sales guy, all this stuff, proudly walking around, right? Go out to the States, we created Rockstar Real Estate Agents. It wasn't known before the TV show, okay? Right. Go out to the States, they love it. You're a success, they want to talk to you. They want to understand why. You failed and you come back, wow, you must be a super success. Yeah. In the UK, oh, they're doing well. Oh, what's he up to? Don't. There's this negativity because we're taught in school to go to work. Oh, Dad, when I leave school, I'd really love to be, I want to be an actor. Okay, son, that's great, but get a plan B. Yeah. Well, in other words, you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
So it's bred in.
So it goes back to that educational system that you started about as well. Then that sit at peace, be quiet, do what I tell you. Just remember this, memorize this test, go to the factory, be quiet. Stop what you mean you want to be an actor. Be quiet and get in your cubicle. Is it that?
Do you know what? And how horrific is that?
Yeah.
When you think about that, we're coming in, we're aware of so much in the world at the moment, and we're missing, I feel, a big part of the beginning of, it's like we're not letting kids breathe, and we're still teaching them the way we taught them years ago. And I won't name him because he won't like it. It's one of the guys on the academy. One of the things they have to do is shout, "Show me the money," in a public place.
Oh wow, Jerry Maguire. Oh, brilliant.
Right, so every week we give him a video to watch, a film and a book to read. Okay, and we start with Glenn Ross.
Right. Oh,
because we teach them in sales. You don't need nothing. You don't need all this prop tech. Forget it. This is what you need.
Right.
Okay, and you need to use this.
Yes.
I'll take some guy that's made 20 calls over someone that sent out 10,000 leaflets and done 5,000 emails.
Right.
Okay, because that doesn't matter. You got to connect. Okay, so getting back, so we teach them, and we teach them, Glenn Ross, because it shows that, and it also shows Pacino's character at the end after it's been burgled. What does he do? Puts his desk up, picks up the phone, starts pitching.
Yeah.
Okay. Persistence. Yeah. Persistence was got Ray Kroc. Yeah, the founder.
Yes.
Persistence. McDonald's, the largest real estate company in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't make fries or burgers really. It's a myth.
Yeah.
Okay. Owns real estate outside the Vatican, which is the biggest commercial real estate.
Are they still the biggest? Are they? Is that how it works?
They are. Yeah. So and so imagine the craziness. All this is going on. So we were talking about This guy, yeah, show me the money, public place.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do it, couldn't do it. He said, Dan, I can't do it. Can't do it. So he couldn't even do it in the safe environment of Clubhouse with like 20 of us that are all friends and learning. I can't do it. I can't. Spent a Saturday with him, hour and a half on the phone while the little one was playing football.
Right.
Okay, Frank, good footballer. Remember his name. Right. He might play for Scotland one day. And you might win. So he spent an hour and a half. And what we found out was it wasn't about him shouting, show me the money. Right. I found out back in the day when he lived in Dubai, he was very well-heeled school. Mm-hmm. He was he called himself the only Trump supporter in Dubai and used to pitch it. And I was like, okay, so you've got energy. What is the issue? He said, and we worked out the issue was I had told him to show me the money, and he hadn't come to it in his own way. So we worked on that. Okay. Very much like you're saying, is someone noticing when you're leading them and just like, nice car, nice house, sign. Yeah. We worked on that, and now you can't shut him up. Now he's sent videos everywhere. I've been standing in car parks shouting, show me the money. And we do this, Richard, and it sounds silly, but we do this because every sales guy on the planet needs to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Sure. Okay. Uncomfortable is where the money is. Yeah. All right. Brief example. We just sold probably the most unsaleable property in the UK. It was on for about 5 million with the big guys for a couple of years. Right. It was a walk up. So at 5 million you want to lift, and it was a walk up 4 flights of stairs. Oh wow. And it wasn't selling, and there was all the usual agents talking around, instruct me, be gone in a week, blah 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 blah. And I managed to speak to them, and I said to them, look, I want to set, can you put your arm out, because I want to be a distance from you, because you're going to want to punch me in the face. The conversation is quite simply, no one has told you the truth, and the fact of the matter is, it's not 5 million, it's 3 and a bit. Right. And if I walk away from here, and all that happens is over the next 6 months, you get down to that and find your buyer, I'm happy. Right. Okay. But this is an uncomfortable conversation. You're telling someone that, had investors involved, they had everything on the line to get this, so that it's not worth it. Yeah. Yeah. But you're also advising them. Mm-hmm. And this is where we make money. This is where a lawyer makes money, whatever. Become an advisor. Any agents listening, become an advisor. Mm-hmm. Okay. Advise them even if it's wrong. Mm-hmm. Even if what they're doing is wrong. Tell them. Yeah. Give them the correct advice. Price it stuff. Yeah. Property sells within 2 weeks if it's priced properly. Yeah. Okay. So look, after a ranting and raving and a couple of emails, I was like, fine, okay. And I said, look, don't look at it like you're losing 5. Look at it like you're receiving 3 and a bit. Yeah. Okay. So we got them an offer within 6 weeks and it completed. Brilliant. And it went through. 2 things happened there. One, the vendor was very, very happy. Yeah. Yeah. And we charged 3% on a £3.25 million property to do the math. Brilliant. Okay. Why did we do that when every other agency, very big players, had the opportunity over 24 months to do that? Yeah. Why didn't they do that? Because they wasn't comfortable being uncomfortable. Yeah. So they let the best part of 96 grand walk out the door and I'm unhappy. So let's understand and let's deal with that. And if anyone wants a tip on a book, a great book to read is Eat That Frog. Oh, yes. Yeah, if you've ever read. Is that Brian Tracy? Is that one of his? Yeah, Eat That Frog. Basically says if the worst thing you've got to do all day is eat a live frog, don't leave it to the afternoon, it won't get better looking. Get it done. Get it done. First thing in the morning. We teaching this and we talk to them, I edit this out, we call it the power of fuck off. If something doesn't work for you, or it's the wrong guy, someone just might not like you. Yeah, yeah. Happen. Just go. Don't ever look at your phone at 9:30, see a number and go, because all day, it will deal with who you want to deal with. The world is full of thousands of millions of people. Yeah. Yeah. Deal with them all. So this is like when you said the psychology, do people know when you're asking about the cricket bat genuinely? Yeah. Yeah. Because you're genuinely interested. Yes. And it's how you move that across. So how we bring the passion that has been bleached out of entrepreneurship, and all these guys, these tech guys that come up with great stuff, and they're like, oh, I don't want to get into sales. And I'm like, well, if you haven't got a salesman, the sales guy's you. Yeah. That's right. That's right. And let's understand, as sales guys as well, you're not managers. Don't stop selling. Get someone to run the company. You go out and carry on doing what you're doing. You be passionate about what you've got and about your product.
It's your story. It's your product.
Stories are just, the greatest advert of all time, I think, was Killing Animals, Tommy Cooper, Lego. The little Lego started as a mouse and he turns it, and they're fighting each other. And it ends up back as an elephant, and so he turns back into a mouse, right, and scares the elephant off. And it's not talking about Lego.
Yeah.
All that is constant brand awareness, and showing you the product in action. It's limitless.
Yeah.
Okay. Sales is limitless.
Love it.
So we sell something that's so amazing because we sell people the realization, and we install hope in them, and they give us in return their trust that we get them to where they want to go.
I like that. Yeah.
And in the UK, we should start to see the dawn of the buying agent.
Right.
Because let's understand why agents, perhaps, and there's pretty good agents out there as well, get a bad rap. We're dealing with people, not boxes, and it's a B2C business. Us and lawyers, right? What do we both deal with directly? The public.
Yeah. It's the public. It's a customer. Yeah.
So we have to take the rap. So if it was a B2B business, if you've listed your house, with my great business partner, Solly Strickland, and I've got a buyer for that house, and I'm talking to Solly, I'm going to say to Solly, come on, level with me. It ain't nowhere near what you're asking.
Yeah.
Where are we at? What have we got to do a deal? How do we get this over the line?
Yeah.
And surely that's a better environment for the seller, for the buyer, and therefore for the agent. The minute we decided that the problem with UK agency was the fees were too low, and we put the fees up, and we explained the service, and we invited other agents. We don't do open days; we do broker opens.
Right.
And we share our fee.
Right.
And I know the best agents in the world in good old days had 10 bits of paper in their back pocket with the hottest buyers on. Yeah. These are people, they're working with them. So they know, I know I've got Richard. I know Richard's got a mortgage. I've seen his AIP. He's got a deposit. He's sold. He's hot. So when you walk out of that 3-bed semi that suits Richard, you walk into your car. Richard, look, this is going to be on Rightmove in 24 hours. Come see it today. Take your time out of work. Right. So one agent can't have your relationship with all the hot buyers in an area. So you have good agents in your area. So let me ask you this question. So an average agency fee, I think less that is about 1.2 in the UK.
Right.
If we're charging 3% and we do a broker's open and we say, come round, tell us about your buyers, look at the property first, discuss with us so we can qualify it. So it's not an open day of a load of looky-loos and rambling people. That. It's we've had 30 people through on the open day. Great. How many offers you had? Oh, well, there's a lot of interest. Grow up, right? Targeted marketing again. So let's pull them brokers in that would usually hate each other.
Yeah.
Get them in a room and go, look, also, I'll give you 1.5% if you bring a buyer. And that's more than you would have made if you'd got the instruction.
Exactly.
Okay. Even to the point, if they've really got a hot buyer and it's great, you want it to happen, I'll give you 2. Right. We'll pay you more than you will get.
Yeah.
Because our brand and the way we pitch it attracts the people where we can talk to them at the right level of fees. Yes. Because they understand service. Okay. And if you don't understand service, or you don't understand the industry you work for, and this is terrifying, right? Or you don't understand what it is you're actually going to do by putting it online, all you've got left to pitch is your fee. So imagine this. Imagine in that situation, a lot of property has been sold, and we know it has. Genuinely, how much money do you think vendors have left on the table down to bad marketing, bad negotiation, and bad agency? How terrifying is that?
There's a fear of loss. just going back to your game. It's your money.
there's a Scottish guy pointing it out, right? Imagine that. And what I hate the fact that these guys don't know how to pitch a service because they don't believe in the service they offer. Being right out there and probably at fear of getting lynched in a high street. Yeah. If you're selling your house at £1 million or 2 million quid, You know, are you happy with someone that's pigeonholed themselves earning 35 to 40 grand a year, handling your property? Not being horrible.
No.
Let me ask you another question. So our agents get up to 70% of the commission they generate.
Right.
So they have to put skin in the game. Okay.
Right.
So let me ask you something. You're about to list your house, Richard. Okay. Let's say it's £1 million. And you've had agent A round. We come round, and let's say that you've got Lydia from NestSeekers, and she turns around and she's talking to you, and you're like, "That's all great, but what about the fee? Yeah. What about the fee? What about this?" And Lydia says, "Look, let me explain it to you." And we make it simple. Yeah. We say, "Look, the other guy, you know, they're going to charge you 2%. Say he's quite a good agent, right? Yeah. So let's say we're on the same. So he's going to charge you 2%, and of that 2%, he sells your house. His company makes 20,000. The average agent's on 10% of that. So he's going to make 2 grand.
Right.
Plus, he's on a basic salary.
Yeah.
So every week his mortgage or his rent is kind of covered.
Right.
Yeah. And if he sells your house, he gets 2 grand. It's a reasonable amount of money.
Gonna be safe.
2 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lydia's there. She's like, "Look, I work for myself. I work under NestSeekers. Okay. I'm going to personally be paying for the photography, the videos, the marketing." And she's explained creating the 50%. Right. And when we sell your house, say we're on the same, and we get, you know, £20,000. Okay. Of that 20,000, I'm going to keep £14,000 for selling your house, Richard.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree that I'm going to work harder than the other guy?
Exactly. That is the real skin in the game. That's her desire, her motivation. It's all there. You know, you've got someone working for you.
That's how you justify your fee. You put yourself out. You're there. You're with the person to the end. And what we start to do now is where I said a minute ago about the dawn of the buying agent. So Richard, Lydia would say to you, "Richard, have you found a property yet?"
Of course, my next one. Yeah, my invisible.
My next one. "Let me do this, Richard. Let me suggest some properties to you. But if you find one, don't negotiate with the agent. Go see it. Let me know. I'll call the agent involved in our fee. This is not an extra cost to you, and I will save you money on the next property you're moving into." Yeah. Okay. So I'll take the heartache out. I will make sure your whole transition from where you are, this sofa, to that sofa, 35 miles ago, it's as simple as you getting in an Uber and walking through the front door.
Brilliant.
Okay. Let's do that together. How does that sound?
Love it. You know, and there's my hope. That's all ignited. Everything you spoke about, you know, that's tremendous.
And that's what we do. You know, that's how agency evolves. And it's not, Christ, right? It's not about NestSeekers. Yeah. It's not about ABC states. It's not about any other agency. It's all of them for the service to move forward, to justify the vendors out there all of a sudden liking us, like seeing the value in us, wanting to deal with us without thinking they're going to lose a finger. It's not NestSeekers that only has to step forward. Yeah. We all have to step forward. And when we all step forward, Richard, the industry steps forward.
The whole thing, moves forward.
Now we move agency from something being a bit, you know, he's an estate agent. Driving around in his company 320i, you know, thinking great, but he's on 22 grand a year basic and 10%. Now let's move the industry forward. Let's pick up where the schools have failed. Let's pick up what we're seeing kids, you know, younger people with aspirations crying out for, going out of their way. They're making money on YouTube, you know, going out of their way doing this and that. They're persistent. They're out there. They're pushing. They want opportunities. Yeah. They want to see it, but they're tied into, "Oh, I'm really worried, and I'm really worried about this." And they have to come when they want to be a broker with some sort of financial security to get them over the first year.
Right. Okay. Right.
And otherwise, they will fail.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Because it will take them a while, and then we've got our archaic legal system to deal with.
That's where we're going to have to move you next. Once you get this sorted out, we need to move you.
I'm terrified. I'm the worst person in the world As a tip for any agents out there, if you're getting on with a solicitor and they're saying something, copy and paste it and send it to the other solicitor. Or CC it. They're like, you can't do this, you can't do it. I can do whatever I need to do to get our mutual client where he needs to be. Sales chasing is a whole nother, area that needs addressing. But so the guys and girls need to come with something, in place to get them through it. We don't want to set anyone up to fail.
Brilliant.
That's why we didn't go out there screaming and shouting, come with us, come here, you earn this money, you earn that money. Very not what I believe a company that's interested in serving with one goal, the core client, which is the vendor. They write the check. So your attention shouldn't deviate from your core goal.
Yeah.
And once it does, there's an issue. You become, a pound shop. All right, because you're dragging income streams that you think you have, and you chase the old American, probably Amway, guys at the top working, and you have a few successes, but for the many there won't be. And I can't sleep with knowing I've met someone and they're not going to be able to get through. It's not fair on us.
Yeah.
It's not fair on them. It's not fair on the clients, and it's not fair on the other agents that we're working with.
Yeah.
And importantly, Richard, it's not fair on the industry.
Nice.
And that's what I'm hoping to do.
Brilliant.
We are moving forward with. We've just opened, as I said, last lockdown we opened in Portugal.
Yeah, you just let that slip away. Oh yeah, during the pandemic when everyone's running scared, we opened up in Portugal. What? Fantastic.
I have a crazy hobby, and it's not really working too well at the moment because there's not many flights. But I watch flights into areas.
Right.
So I watch planes.
Right.
And how busy the airline is, how packed that plane is on that day, where are they going? So a few years ago, it was like, Hong Kong's flying to Dublin a lot.
Right.
So, of course, because of the passport.
Right.
So then you see it. So do we open in Dublin? Dublin has a lot of regulation. It's not for us now. Park that, come back to it, keep moving forward.
Right.
So, Portugal is so rich in everything. Okay. And they have two benefits to, capitalists, which we should say we are. We shouldn't be embarrassed. This is why we get the kids to shout, show me the money. You're here for the money. That pitch I just said to you about the 14K fee.
Yes.
It's a fee. Never say commission. We charge a fee because we deliver a service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Others might charge a commission. Okay. We don't ask someone to sign the contract. We ask them to authorize the paperwork. Yeah. Right. We empower them. Yeah, we've got them in the drive seat. So Portugal, what's great about Portugal is the day you agree the sale, say we've agreed the property, you'll sell £1 million, the buyer puts down a deposit, we get half our fee that day.
Wow.
Fees in Portugal are 6%. So you get 3% up front. It's got a commissory buyer-seller agreement. Nuno will pull me up on the pronunciation. So that's what it's called. And then you get the rest when it completes. So from our point of view, it's a great way to move it. Secondly, lots of Americans all of a sudden waking up to Portugal as much as they are to London. We've exited Brexit. We didn't list. We didn't disappear down a hole. Pound stood strong. I think it was 136 against the dollar this morning. So Americans are all of a sudden getting interested in it.
Right.
The whole of Asia and everywhere, Hong Kong, Singapore, diving a little bit, restrictions on them taking money and buying property abroad. So let's go to Toronto, which has a massive Asian settlement, probably the largest outside Asia, secondary market. Let's do something involved over there. Portugal's now going. Again, we never shouted about it. We've got 12 agents over there, and they've got a good pipeline. They've completed on villas in excess of £3 million at 6%, so they're happy. We are going to be, hopefully, one of the first agents in Portugal to get a new build development sole agency. In Portugal, it's open to everyone.
Wow.
But the guy, wants to do the whole thing direct with us. We're also looking into probably having the first crypto sales.
What?
No
way. Fantastic.
The big crypto sale just went through in Miami. I know that the Candy Brothers in One High Park are looking at it as well. And when the Candy Brothers look at stuff, follow.
Right.
Look at people that know what they're doing. I did a piece in the Times a couple of weeks ago about, there's still supply and demand at 175 million, as crazy as that seems.
Yeah.
You might think, wow, but a guy that's worth 10 billion, 175 million, couple of percent of his wealth for him to live how he wants, where he wants, and to own it. Someone owns the Mona Lisa, right? These things and you own it. And why does he own it and want it? Because it enables him to facilitate his life, but also the next billionaire's coming along.
Yeah.
And they'll pay more than he did.
That's
because
right.
there's so many of these places you can have.
Yeah.
So it's supply and demand.
Supply and demand, the old classic.
They never stop. So Portugal, we opened Portugal. I've never even met the guys over there face to face yet. I did it all over Zoom. All over Zoom, and we had to set up, because we left the EU. I'm actually, my friends laugh, I'm a reasonable person in Portugal now. So that took a while, but it's good. It's working well. Because of that, we found some interest from Brazil.
Right.
Which is quite crazy.
Portuguese, of course.
Portugal, Brazil. That led us then into Athens.
Right.
Conversation with Portugal. One of the guys there hooked me up with a guy in Lebanon, a broker. And the people from the Lebanon like big houses and flash cars.
Is that right?
Simple. They can go to Athens,
right,
for 200. I think it's about 250,000 euros.
Right.
If they spend on a property, they can get a family visa for 4. So someone from Lebanon buying a property in Athens has more rights to travel across the EU than you or me.
My goodness.
But let's look at that market. So we do what we call a carousel dating thing. So we have the guy in Lebanon. He gets 12 of his big investors. They're in a room. And then I do a guy from, Portugal, a guy from Athens, a guy from Miami, the Hamptons, New York, London, Manchester. Yeah. And they do a 3-minute quick pitch with me pretending I'm a news desk. Now it's over to Spencer in Manchester on not what properties available, what the cities offer. This is what you get out.
Okay.
Why? Go back to the Rightmove ads, yeah?
Yeah.
Brand awareness.
Yes.
Right? Not call to action.
Yeah.
You can't do that yet. Call to action is gold when they come to you.
Yes.
So you do that. 2 days later, you get a phone call. Oh, hi, Dan. I was on that thing the other day. I'm really interested in Manchester. Could you hook me up with Spencer? I've got about 4 million to spend.
Brilliant.
No problem. Done. And that, in a nutshell, is the psychology of sales.
Yeah.
And that is what, and I'm sure you would agree, if came back across the UK, would benefit everybody and deliver sellers more value for their property, happier buyers, dawn of the buying agent, dawn and beginning of the hardcore deals in heels, as Peggy, one of the stars of $1 Million Beach House, talks about. We get these guys on the clubhouses sometimes. And
do you? Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I get the agents role playing with them. And we get them. We did a clubhouse the other day with Eddie. Eddie's great. He come on, and at the end, I made him shout, "Show me the money." And and it's fun. And now, it's come to the point now where NestSeekers Academy is now being rolled out. You're the first to hear it in the States.
Oh, tremendous.
So it's an English training academy.
Yeah.
That's going to be coming over to the state. You're at very early stages. We're just finishing website. And design, again, never want it to be 100%.
Yeah.
We're happy with 70%.
Yeah.
Pull the trigger. Watch everyone else. Yeah. Yeah. Watch everyone else.
Yeah.
Look what's going on. Don't be afraid of getting punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Don't spend too much time in the classroom.
Yeah.
You learn on the pavement, which is probably where I did learn a lot of stuff. And you can be taught. You can be taught to sell the invisible if you learn to listen.
Brilliant. That the way you've wrapped it up there is just perfect, Dan. What a fun, fascinating conversation. Absolutely. I love the way your mind works. I love the way you join the dots, you tell the story, you make sure we're focusing on the important things. Absolutely brilliant. I know you've delivered a ton of gold for the viewers and the listeners today, and I really appreciate all the wee moments from the individual personal thing. It says a lot about your character, with the story of doing everything you could to pay those employees at that time, the really struggling time, to the big picture, big thinking that you've got. It's not just about you. It's not just about the people you're with. It's not even just about your company. It's the whole market you want to carry forward. I bloody love that. From the high to the low, from the high level detail to the low level. Absolutely brilliant. Thanks a million for your time today, sir. Really appreciate it.
No worries. And tune in on Saturday night, yeah?
Tune in on Saturday. And then on Sunday, don't try and get another Zoom call with him, because his hangover is going to be off the scale.
Yeah, crazy one. Richard, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you.
Do me one favour. Sign us off by shouting out, "Show me the money."
I do it all the time. Show me the money!
There we are. Thanks a million, Dad. Goodbye, sir. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I did. Remember, with the guests that you just saw, go into the show notes for the page, because all of their links are there so that you can get in touch and to get more information. And talking about getting more information, more guests, more insights, more knowledge, etc., make sure you're subscribed. Get the subscription done, get the notifications on, and then we'll always keep in touch with you every single time a brand new show is going to come out. So thanks for tuning to This Week in Property.